Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Don't forget right now, if you use code ODDS at checkout, you get free worldwide shipping with gamer subs on all orders over $75. This offer will be active until May 1st at 2 p.m. EST, so be sure to use it while you can. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Cold Brilliant 4578, posted to r/Am I the Asshole, July 29th, 2024. Am I the asshole for buying my sister's dream house? My 27 female, wife 30 female, and I recently closed on our dream house, and it has the family torn. Years ago, my grandparents owned the family home. But when they died unexpectedly, with a lot of medical debt and expenses, our family had to sell their house. It was heartbreaking and sad, and I decided, as a small child, that one day I would buy the house back. I shared those dreams with my sister. I met my wife when I was 18 and she was 21. Her parents owned a small rental that they allowed her to live in rent-free, just paying for the expenses. She invited me to live with her a year into our relationship, and we got married a year after that. I told her about my dreams of owning my grandparents' house, and she fully supported me. We began putting large amounts of money back for a down payment in the hopes that the house wouldn't go on the market before we could afford it. Because we didn't pay rent and both had good jobs for our ages and the economy we lived in, we were able to put back a very, very large sum of money. My in-laws also offered us a sum of $75,000 for the down payment, and in total, we put back about $185,000. About 20 years after my grandparents passed away, their house finally went back on the market at a massive price. The house itself is huge, with 6 bedrooms, a large lakefront estate, and several features, including a pool and small guest house. We knew that this house would have a huge price tag, and we skimped and budgeted for 9 years to afford my dream house. My sister was also shopping at this time, but with a much smaller budget. Her and her husband have children, student debt, and rented for the past several years, and were not able to put back money in the same way my wife and I were. When our grandparents' house went on the market, I sent the link to my sister and said that we were finally getting our grandparents' home back in the family. She was very excited and said as much, and that was that. My wife and I moved forward, visiting with the owners and real estate agents, having it inspected, and made an offer. They accepted, and we were absolutely over the moon. Throughout this whole process, my sister kept saying how excited she was to have the house back in the family, and how nice it will be for her children to know this house and grow up in it, like her and I did. Our grandparents' house was the location of every birthday, holiday, gathering, and reunion, and my wife and I planned on making it that way again, which was why what my sister said didn't raise any red flags. Weird that she'd phrase it that way, but not concerning. We had a barbecue at my parents' house to celebrate the final closing of our house. During the dinner, my mother-in-law offered to kennel our dogs while we were in the stages of moving, to keep things easier and them safe. And that was when my sister piped up. She asked why our dogs needed to be watched when the real issue was her kids. My wife asked what she meant, and she said that her kids will need more supervision than our dogs, and that she was confused as to why we'd be so busy that our dogs needed watching. I told her I was the one confused. I didn't know she was helping us move, and that if her kids couldn't reliably be left to their own devices, then she absolutely did not need to help us pack. My sister proceeded to ask why my wife and I would be packing. I told her the obvious. We just closed in a house. For length reasons, I'll leave out a lot of the back and forth, but here's the gist of it. My sister had it in her head that we were buying the house to either A, rent to own it out to her family, or B, transfer the title to her name and have her pay us back in time. Yes, that is literally what she was thinking, despite us never discussing anything like that once. When I told her that was not happening, my sister threw a fit. She was pissed because this was her dream too, and that it wasn't fair that only one of us could live it. That since she had children, they deserved to grow up in the family home. And what did my wife and I even need all that space for? My wife told her that it isn't the family home anymore. It wasn't left in a will, we purchased it, and now it is our home. And we decide what we will do with it. My sister told my wife to shut up and that she had no say in this family discussion. I informed my sister that if she spoke to my wife that way again, we would not be having any kind of contact with her anymore. That she doesn't get to assume we're giving her a house and then throw a hissy fit when she's put in her place. And we left. My in-laws spoke to us on the matter a few times, but all told us we were in the right and that my sister was very out of line. I assumed everyone would agree, but if they did, I wouldn't be on this thread. I got texts and voicemails from my parents saying that we were out of line, threatening my sister. They told me they were disappointed in me for taking my sister's dream from her, and that I don't have kids, so I can't understand her want to provide them with a good home and childhood like she had. That it's only fair we set up a way to give her the house, and that we could afford to find something else. Even my more distant relatives had said that it was cruel of us to take that from her. I'm honestly super shocked and taken aback. I've seen stories similar to this on Reddit, entitled people thinking they should get their relatives' houses, but I never expected to live it. This feels surreal, and I hate that we're starting this new chapter out on such a sour note. Am I the asshole for buying my sister's dream house? Edit, wow, this blew up in such a short amount of time. Thank you for your support, and if this continues to be interesting and not blow over, I'll definitely update. Yes, this unfortunately is a real situation, and in case anyone is curious, yes, the house is big and expensive, but it's severely outdated, which is why the size and features don't exactly match the price in today's housing market. Like, I don't think any owners after my grandparents renovated a single thing. Also, I am a woman, LOL. Update. I can't read and respond to all of these comments, but thank you. I will continue to update, but since posting yesterday morning, not much has happened. I will add a bit more of what's happened since the barbecue. I haven't responded to any messages my family have left. I honestly didn't think this was that big a deal, but after scrolling through the comments for a while with my wife, we're both taking this much more seriously. A security system isn't an option at the moment. The house needs too much work at this moment to have cameras and such set up. They'd be in the way of everything else being done. We'd have to have them removed for several of the things we need done. And we don't even have internet access at the property at this moment. I will be scheduling meetings with some companies to start coming out and working on the property before we get to the cosmetics. However, we do have someone coming out to change the locks on Thursday. We won't be moving into the house for a bit since it needs so much work before we're comfortable. I've had a few people suggest the story is fake because the price of the house doesn't match the features. The house needs a lot of work. It hasn't been updated or worked on in years, and the price reflects that. Also, we're lucky to live in a state where property values haven't skyrocketed too bad. Relevant comments. Lurker78. Info. How much did the house cost if you put down almost $200K as a down payment? Not the asshole, but your first mistake was sharing the listing with your sister. OP responds, the house was a little over $800K, but the down payment itself was only about $100K. The rest was used for closing costs, moving costs, and renovations/updates. It has a seriously dangerous deck that looked like it had been done by the homeowners that needs to be completely torn down and redone. OP responds on getting a will in place regarding the house in case if she and her wife passes on. That way her family cannot fight over the legal rights of the property. OP responds, honestly, I never even thought of this. I've always assumed wills and trusts were enough, but this is a scary possibility. Thank you, and I will be strongly considering this. Update, July 30th, 2024. For the goddamn life of me, I can't get my post to link, but I'm sure if you're reading this, it's because you've already read my original post. If someone would link it in the comments, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you to everyone for being so supportive and offering advice. To those who suggested getting a security system in place, we're going to do that, but the house is not in a place where a security system can be installed. For the time being, we're looking into getting some battery-powered trail cams as suggested by one Redditor. I can't find your comment in the sea anymore, but you know who you are. We don't have to worry about internet access, and they won't be in the way of renovations. We're restoring the house back to its original glory, pre-carpeted bathrooms and mismatched— what the fuck did you just say? Oh god, pre-carpeted bathrooms. That is a horror story. Ugh, who knows what's living in those carpets. And mismatched wallpaper. Besides fixing broken shit and upgrading old appliances, we'll be having the floors redone, paint, wallpaper, new windows, and opening up some walls that shouldn't be there. For the next 2 weeks, my wife and I will be meeting with people coming out to work on electricity, plumbing, and a few other things, and we do have a consultation with a home security company. Along with cameras, we're looking to get alarms and door codes and set up an access gate around the property. One of those that needs either a passcode or to be let in by someone in the house. We've already made an appointment to have the locks changed and aren't concerned about my family trying to squat there. My in-laws have allowed us to park their camper trailer on the property while work is being done, not only for peace of mind, but to avoid commuting back and forth multiple times daily. For the actual update, I was hesitant to post this update since it's so soon after my original post, but I guess enough has happened for it to be useful information. The events of the barbecue took place last week, but I only got around to writing it all out yesterday. I sent a message to my parents and siblings yesterday evening asking to meet up to talk things through and try to figure out what's wrong. And what exactly the hell is happening? Earlier today, my wife and I met my parents and my brother's family at his house before my sister arrived. I let them know that if they tried to interrupt or control the conversation, we would leave. I told them that I never once even suggested my sister would be allowed to rent out the house or buy it from us, that I didn't know where she got the idea from, and showed them the text strings where I first sent her the listing and every conversation where I updated her on the progress. My mom asked to see the rest of the conversations about the house, and I told her there were none. She informed me that my sister told them all that we had made an agreement that my wife and I would purchase it and then rent it out to my wife's family until they'd paid enough to buy it, that we would live in the guest house and they'd get the main house. She told them that we had went back on our deal and had absolutely shattered her dreams of raising her kids in the house she grew up in. We gave our side, and it wasn't difficult at all to convince my parents that we were telling the truth. With the lack of evidence on my sister's part and absolutely no legal documentation, my parents didn't even attempt to try and back up what she told them. My parents were very apologetic and let us know that they never would have said those things to us had they known the truth, and that they supported us 100%. My brother was supportive of us as well, but he was never one of the people harassing us over this, so his reaction is less important. Around then, my sister and her husband showed up. My brother-in-law is a doormat and will give my sister whatever she wants, so I wasn't expecting much from him. I asked her to produce any of the necessary evidence to prove that I told her we'd rent the house out to her, that her lie was ill-conceived and that she better have a good explanation. She attempted to suggest that I had deleted the conversation, but when she couldn't produce said messages either, her story fell apart. She started crying, saying that it wasn't fair that we got everything handed to us, and that we didn't need a house this big, and that we were rubbing our wealth in her face. So, to my understanding, she thought she could trick everyone into bullying us into renting our house out to her, I guess? Like some kind of fucked-in-the-head Scooby-Doo villain? Instead of using ghosts to scare us away, she's using a fake rental agreement that she didn't even attempt to make look or sound legit. We let her know that she had a lot of apologizing to do before we'd consider having a relationship with her moving forward, and that she wouldn't be welcome in our home for a long time. At the moment, our relationship with my parents is rocky at best for obvious reasons. They let us know that they're here to support us if we need moving assistance or help with renovations, but it'll take some good hard thinking to decide if we're okay with that. We will not be giving anyone in my family a spare key, but my wife's parents will receive one for emergencies. The house won't be in a state to host guests for a bit, so we're choosing to cross the "can my family be trusted at our home" bridge when we come to it. To answer some common questions I've noticed in the comments, my sister obviously has some screws loose, but my parents don't really coddle her. She's what you can consider the golden child and the baby, but honestly, most of her antics up until this point were just one-upping achievements during our childhood or seeking more attention from our parents. She's dramatic, entitled, and a little selfish, but has never displayed this level of crazy before. Yes, we will get a security system, but not for a bit. No, my family will not be trusted with a key. Yes, I am a woman. I know, it's crazy. How can two women be married, LOL? My wife and I do not have kids and will not have them in the future. My sister has done some odd things, but nothing as absolutely absurd as this. We will be meeting with an estate planner to put everything into writing. We plan on leaving the property to my sister-in-law and her kids with my mother-in-law as the executor of our estate for the time being. My sister and her family rent a small house in town. They aren't struggling per se, they each are college-educated with good jobs, but children are expensive, and then adding in student debt and $2,000 a month in rent, and you aren't exactly living it up. Also, there's a surprising amount of people mad at my wife and I for being rich. We're not wealthy. My in-laws are comfortable and are generous enough to allow us to occupy their rental at no charge. They bought a new house decades ago and just didn't sell their previous one, so they allowed my wife to live there. The down payment was my wife's college fund from years ago. Her parents put money in it, but when she decided to go into a trade, they kept the money and saved it specifically for the purpose of a down payment. When we told them that the house was up for sale finally, they offered the college fund they had kept for her. We work good-paying jobs, but were able to save so much because we didn't have to pay $2,000 a month for housing. We did skimp and save, and we did damn well to earn it. We lived below our means and spent years foregoing any kind of luxuries to afford something we wanted. So yeah, not as drama-filled as a lot of people were expecting or hoping. I don't see this as the end of it, not at all, but for the time being, my wife and I are focusing on dealing with our new house and not my sister. She's blocked on both our phones, as of this morning, and I'm not sure when I plan on unblocking her. Relevant comments. True 1593 comments. Leaving it to your sister-in-law is mad work. You're closer to your sister-in-law than your sister? OP responds, the sister who attempted to trick, bully, and harass her way into taking the house we just bought and turned my entire family against us? And my sister-in-law is my wife's sister, so yes, she's just as close to us as my sister. Closer after the stunt my sister just pulled. User later Syllabob5560 comments, and I would have gotten away with the house if it weren't for those meddling lesbians! OP responds, okay, this one got me. Laughing crying emoji. Everyday Gal comments, not the asshole, your sister is delusional and has made up a narrative in her head that she is owed or entitled to certain privileges. Your parents are crazy for reinforcing that narrative to her. Good on you for taking your wife's side and not standing for the disrespect. Livid Western 7133 comments, not the asshole, do not ever give your parents or sister a spare key or the door code. Ever. I have 3 takeaways from this story. 1. Saving money on Reddit is apparently illegal and makes you an asshole. 2. Having kids apparently summons phantom contract agreements that allow you to take control of your family members' houses. Apparently. And 3. Some fucking monster put carpets in the bathroom. This post was collected by Big O Nerd. The original OP is Disastrous Wash 8668, posted to r/mytheasshole April 18th, 2026. Am I the asshole for telling my coworker I can't babysit her daughter anymore? I, female 20, am very close with one of my coworkers, female 31. She has a very sweet 9-year-old daughter. I babysit this daughter most weekends for free. I also have a lot of pets, including several fish tanks. My coworker's daughter has always been super interested in my pets, wanting to hold, feed, and watch them. One day I noticed a bad smell coming from one of the tanks. I looked around and noticed several dead fish on the floor, behind the tank. My tanks have floating plants that keep the fish from jumping out. Not to mention the amount of them that have come out was very odd. I have cameras in my house, mostly to watch my pets while I'm at work. I looked to see if there was anything odd captured on the camera closest to the fish tank and saw something disturbing. My coworker's kid had stuck her hand in the tank, held it there, I'm assuming until one of the fish swam near it, pulled it out, tossed it behind the tank, then repeated several more times. Then she walked away, leaving the fish to die. As soon as I saw that, I got very angry and called my coworker and told her that her daughter was not allowed back to my place. I explained what happened, expecting her to be disgusted and apologize for her daughter's actions. Instead, she got mad at me. I called her on Friday and was supposed to watch her daughter the next day while she worked. I explained that I wouldn't put my animals in harm's way by letting her come back to my house. She said some stupid shit about people making mistakes and that her daughter is young. This pissed me off even more, and I told her that this is how serial killers are made and that her daughter needed therapy before she decided killing animals was boring and moved on to humans. Then hung up on her. It's been a few days, and I'm feeling very conflicted. I love this kid. I've been babysitting her since I was 17 and she was 6. She's a very sweet and quiet girl, and from what I've personally observed, she loves my animals. But I have video evidence of her killing my fish. I don't want her to try and go for one of my other pets or kill any more of my fish. I genuinely can't think of a reason she would have done this that doesn't involve her just wanting to kill the fish. Am I the asshole for not letting her come back to my house? Edit. I feel like I need to clarify some things. I'm using babysitting loosely here. For the most part, we would watch TV together, or she would watch me play games in the living room. She would hang out with the cats and dogs and sometimes help me with my other animals. Something she would ask me to do. I wouldn't follow her around the house, especially the past year, because I trusted her to make good decisions. And I have cameras that send me notifications for loud noises. I assure you all that she was receiving attention. If this was something she did for attention, then why do it now and not in the 3 years I've been babysitting her? Also, to clarify why I did it for free, my coworker is a very busy woman and a single mother who works 2 jobs. She's also very helpful at work and often is the one who covers shifts when needed. I also didn't mind having her daughter around because she would offer to help clean up while she's here. She's also a very quiet kid, very willing to sit and watch TV for hours at a time. It never felt particularly like a job, and I didn't want to make her mother pay for another thing on top of everything she already pays for. Comments. No teacher 3313. Not the asshole, she knows she's killing the fish. But also, you're 20, and why are you spending every weekend babysitting for free? Even without the very disturbing fish situation, please enjoy your free time. You're not obligated to be someone else's free childcare. OP responds, my idea of enjoying my free time is watching TV or playing video games, lol. Both of which I can do while babysitting. That's why I did it for free. I wasn't a super high-effort babysitter, mostly just let her come over so she wasn't alone at her house. User so much song comments, not the asshole, but why were you ever doing free babysitting for everyone, and why are you still describing this child as sweet when you have video evidence of her killing your fish? She's not 2 or 3 where she may not understand what she's doing. She's 9. OP responds, before this, I would have described her as an angel. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that she would even do something like this. Lord Basington! Downvoted. So you're meant to be babysitting and a 9-year-old was unsupervised enough to do that? Kinda on you there, not the kid. The kid could have really hurt herself there. OP responds, hurt herself? She's 9, not 2. I'm also using babysitting pretty loosely here. She's a very well-behaved kid who just watched TV with me while her mom works. I don't follow her around because I assume she knows what not to do. This isn't something I or anyone would expect a child to do. But other than this, she hasn't done anything wrong in the 3 years I've been watching her. I had a lot of trust in her. Final update after 3 days, April 21st, 2026. A couple days ago, I posted about my coworker's 9-year-old daughter killing my fish, causing me to not let her back at my house. I finally talked to the daughter. I allowed her to come over on Sunday. I asked her if she knew why I was upset, and she told me she hadn't known I was upset. Her mother lied to her and said the reason I wouldn't let her come over last weekend and Saturday was because I was busy. I then showed her the video and explained why I was upset. First, here's some more context. The fish she killed were guppies. If you know anything about guppies, you know they breed like nothing else. They can go from having 2 to having 50 in a month. It's insane, and something I complained about often. Every couple of months, I give some of my guppies to a local fish store. I refer to this as getting rid of the babies. My coworker's daughter told me that she thought she was helping me, that she got rid of the fish for me. She said she knew that I didn't like having too many of them and had noticed that there were a lot and thought she'd help get rid of some. I then explained that I give the fish back to the pet store when there's too many, not kill them. I also explained that killing animals, no matter how small, is wrong, especially in the way that she did it, leaving them to suffer. She apologized profusely, continuing to say she thought she was helping. I asked her why hadn't she told me about it or asked before she did it. And she didn't have much of an explanation, just kept apologizing. She was very upset, so I dropped the subject. I'm not sure how to feel about this explanation. She seemed sincere when she said it. I want to believe her, but I'm still confused on why she hadn't told me about it. Comments. Scared Elk 6971. I'm more concerned that almost every single person commented on your first post to stop babysitting and take a step back, and you didn't. We can't help you if you don't want to help yourself. OP responds, downvoted. I wanted to talk to her about why is OP downvoted for this? I wanted to talk to her about why she did what she did. It didn't feel right not having an explanation from her. User XRC comments, I'm more concerned about why her mom lied to her. User Hung White Boy 25 comments, because she didn't expect OP to follow through with her threat of not babysitting. Comment from Own Witness 7423. Throwing them behind the tank indicates she knows what she was doing was wrong. End of conversation. User Regular Boot 3540 comments, I would still be concerned as well. At 9, she should have some awareness that it's wrong to kill animals unless you're actually planning to eat them. And maybe don't mention that, or she might think guppy stew is a good idea. Okay, this is really fucking nuanced, so let's start unpacking things. First off, the free babysitting angle. If OP really wasn't enjoying babysitting and wanted a way out of it because it was too much time, she wouldn't have re-invited the kid to her house to have the conversation. It is very clear she enjoys her time with this child. It is very clear that she cares for this child. And it's also clear that she doesn't mind having the kid around and it doesn't really distract from her. Not everyone on this planet is financially motivated or financially driven. It could be that OP genuinely enjoys the time that she spends with her coworker's kid. I feel like it's important to look at it from the lens of maybe OP just actually enjoys watching the kid and isn't here for the financial compensation and is just doing a nice thing. I don't think OP should be downvoted for approaching life like this, but I will say to OP, the moment you do feel overwhelmed or you do feel like you're not being appreciated properly, don't be afraid to put your foot down and either request compensation or request less time or request alterations or that she gives back. There is also definitely a conversation to be had if OP's been doing the free childcare since she was 17, because then it heavily implies the coworker just dropped off her 6-year-old daughter to the 17-year-old coworker and called it good and just expected it for free. Or OP offered it as a one-time thing and it just kind of became a habit. Yeah, OP's coworker friend just isn't really a good person and is 100% taking advantage of OP's kindness and generosity, even if OP's enjoying the babysitting. Now, to the meat and potatoes, which there are a lot of servings and a lot of ways to approach this, and a lot of things that I kind of want to spitball and discuss here because of just how much is going on here. The mother not caring that her child did that is a massive red flag. In my mind, because the mom doesn't seem to actually care the kid did that and writes it off entirely, it tells me the kid's being raised in an environment where the lives of animals aren't really valued or appreciated or even taught. So to her, it's just, oh, you know, she wants to get rid of the guppies, I'm gonna help her get rid of the guppies. Boom, done. The fact that the kid was specifically targeting things that were complained about by OP and not the other animals does give me a bit of pause as to whether or not this is the signs of future behavior to come, or this was just a kid fundamentally misunderstanding the assignment while trying to be helpful. Or hell, maybe this is her acting out because there's more going on that we just can't see behind the scene. There's actually a really good comment from Lady McGuffin and from Crafty and Kind. This is honestly so sad. This looks like a situation where the kid is neglected and or abused. She's acting out in ways that indicate a need for agency and control, and that mirror others' neglect of her own suffering and humanity. She's repeating what she's lived. Hurt people, hurt kids, hurt anything they can. And by reflection of those things, this kid has probably never experienced it being safe to fuck up like this with her primary caregiver and learn better. So the instinct is to obscure and lie and minimize, save face at all costs. Breaks my heart having lived and overcome a similar looking situation. Crafty and Kind comments, you know, this is probably the most realistic perspective. What this kid did was and remains incredibly creepy and unsettling, but rather than jumping to, ew, little 9-year-old psychopath, enough said, it makes more sense to think, based on the actions of this child's mother, there's probably a ton of not great stuff going on in that home, and this kid is being messed up by it. To me, I'm definitely given the impression that the kid might need some kind of therapy. It's probably not easy being the child of a single mother who's working 2 jobs. And as for the mother, it comes across that potentially the stress that she feels trying to maintain everything is starting to rub off and she's beginning to take advantage or neglect those around her. Whether it's OP's free babysitting or hand-waving her daughter's behavior. Whether it's killing fish or potentially things at home as well. There's a lot going on here, and I kind of wanted to discuss more of it than just simply doing what Reddit did and just, kid's a psychopath, stop babysitting, stop being doormat, move on. It just feels incredibly reductive and like it's ignoring a potentially important conversation that could be had, and I thought I would at least maybe try to get the ball rolling. I know that I'm definitely not qualified to talk about any of this, but at least we're having a conversation about it and not just telling OP that they suck for not just simply walking away immediately. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Throw RA Nutcracker, posted to r/relationship advice April 6, 2026. I, 28 female, found out my boyfriend, 41 male, has been requesting cash back on my debit card. General content warning for drug use, infidelity, racism, misogyny, gaslighting, and abusive behavior. Oh boy. I don't know where to start. I just found out that my boyfriend has been getting cash back on my debit card without my knowledge. A little background, we live together. He doesn't have an income. He gets fired from jobs quickly for no-shows, arguing with supervisors/coworkers. He's worked a total of 6 weeks since 2021. Money is getting tight. I noticed that the charges from the grocery store were getting higher. I asked him about the charges and for the receipt. He would get defensive, call me names, walk away, lock himself in his car, and accuse me of being insane. Every disagreement ended with him blocking me on social media, and he changes his relationship status to "it's complicated" or "single" to make me feel insecure. I apologized and try not to think about it. Last week, he asked to use my debit card to get drinks and snacks. He came back with 2 fountain drinks. My card was charged over $28. I asked him about it. He said that he didn't owe me an explanation for a stupid question. A few hours later, he had a change of heart. He told me that the self-checkout wasn't working and the cashier did the transaction. I emailed the store and asked for a receipt. It showed that there was a $20 cashback withdrawal and the transaction was done at the self-checkout. I reached out to the other stores and requested receipts. All show cash withdrawals. So far, there's a total of over $200. I haven't confronted him. I don't know how to bring it up. He has a really bad temper. This is the first time I have evidence of his betrayal. Before we get to the relevant comments, I just need to ask, what do you see in this man? He's not able to hold down a job, he's in his 40s, and every time you guys get into a fight, he gets petty and changes his Facebook relationship status to get a dig at you. You're dating a teenager. Relevant comments, Peak Penguins. We live together. He doesn't have income. He gets fired from jobs quickly for no-shows, arguing with supervisor/coworkers. He's worked a total of 6 weeks since 2021. Money is getting tight. Hey, why are you still with him? Quote, he would get defensive, call me names, walk away, lock himself in his car, and accuse me of being insane. Every disagreement ended with him blocking me on social media, and he changes his relationship status to it's complicated or it's single. It makes me feel insecure. I apologize and try not to think about it. End quote. No, again, why in the world are you still with this guy? Quote, my card was charged over $28. I asked him about it. He said that he didn't owe me an explanation for a stupid question. End quote. Oh my god, why are you with him? Prison Schism comments, he didn't owe her an explanation for her money being missing? What the fuck? I had 2 guys steal from me in similar manners. One's excuse was, we're a team. It was only, insert number here, money. He was just borrowing it. I told him if it was so little money, he was free to get his own. Team members communicate rather than steal. And if he were to go to Walmart and take something and just tell them he was borrowing it and would return with the money when he got paid, they would still arrest him. This shit doesn't get any better, especially at this guy's age. OP responds, speaking of Walmart, I refuse to go to Walmart with him. He will take something, then exploit the return policy. He will tell customer service that he paid cash and ask for a gift card. When he uses his 3 returns, he will ask me to do returns. I refuse. He calls me a dumb bitch for refusing free money. He calls himself Robin Hood and prides himself on taking from the rich/big guy. When I voice my disagreement, he gets angry and locks himself in the bathroom. He told me that it's Walmart's fault for allowing returns without receipts. Everybody does it, and quit acting like a scared idiot. Also, real quick, because this is a big pet peeve of mine, is like the fake activism. Oh, I'm just stealing from the rich. You're not actually affecting the rich by doing this. because all they're going to do is see their bottom line could be cut a little bit further, or it's not as profitable to maintain that store, and they're just going to shut it down and move on to a new location. So that means all those jobs are now lost, and they just kind of decimated the economy of an area because, well, the numbers didn't quite line up, and it doesn't affect them at all. Once upon a time, Walgreens actually found themselves in hot water for closing locations and blaming shoplifting when you actually looked at the numbers, turns out they just had poor sales and saw the shoplifting excuse as an easy way out. Hell, one of the executives literally admitted to crying too much about shoplifting and said that they maybe potentially overstated the shoplifting threat during the store closures, specifically their CFO. So what I'm trying to get at here, sorry for the random tangent here, is that the boyfriend doing this to, taking from the rich, they're not gonna notice a couple dollars missing. They're not gonna give a shit until they realize they can close a store and save money for a tax write-off. All you did was call your girlfriend a dumb bitch. Next update, April 17th, 2026, 11 days later. I want to thank everyone for their comments. The comments were eye-opening. I realized that I've been completely brainwashed, stripped of my identity, divinity, and common sense. In my desperation to keep the peace, I ignored every flag. Atta girl. What I discovered this week, I waited for him to fall asleep. I wanted answers without the gaslighting. I unlocked and snooped through his phone, not my proudest moment. He's active on multiple dating sites, has a Facebook page using an alias, and is talking to multiple women. The messages are crazy. He told slightly different stories to different women about his living situation and income. I found messages between him and his exes. He told them that I'm insecure, controlling, insane, jealous of every female regardless of age and appearance, a gold digger, and once out of the situation. He called me, oh, I can't say that one out loud, Jesus Christ. Oh, or that one, or that one, or that one. Disgusting, fat, and ugly. These women sympathized with him. One woman is recently divorced and waiting for her house to close. She invited him to stay with her and get away from the insane illegal. Gross. He convinced these women that he's unemployed because I'm too insecure to let him work. Some of his messages were diabolical. He made a joke of my emotional pain. He enjoyed watching/listening to me beg for basic affection and time together. He said, I would never give in to a oh my fucking god. I'm just gonna start having the classic. Just know that I'm not actually saying them. Let the bitch beg the white man like the lowlife she is. He laughed about making me pay him for affection. It makes sense. He was nice or affectionate when he wanted something. There were messages about him withdrawing money from my debit card. He didn't consider it stealing because he should be paid for piping that fat, disgusting... His married ex-girlfriend from 2012 told him that she will leave her husband for him, yet she doesn't have a job either. She was encouraging to make the ugly, disgusting bitch pay. He told these women that he would never mistreat a white woman. He used my Hispanic background, I was born in California, and alleged insecurity to justify his lack of financial contribution and targeted cruelty. He called me ugly, fat, nasty, oh, welfare bitch. I have never received public assistance and I'm average weight. I can't believe there's women who find this okay. I snooped in the closet and I found, well, a needle emoji, skull emoji. I almost passed out. Now I know why he needed cash. I feel disgusted and scared. He shoots up meth. I made an appointment for HIV and STI testing. I'm scared to death. Those racists can keep the junkie. I'm not going to reach out to those women. If they're evil enough to entertain a man who admits to cruelty and racism, then they can figure it out later. I can't believe that man made a game of my pain. I didn't confront him. I secretly got my valuables out of the apartment. He didn't care or notice that I've been distant. I didn't say much. He's happier because I haven't been disturbing his peace in alone time. I guess he hated me for being Hispanic. He will be getting a 30-day notice. My property management is taking responsibility. Needless to say, staying is not an option. Finding those cashback withdrawals and posting on Reddit are the best things that have happened to me. Update 2, April 18th, 2026. I would like to thank everybody for their comments. I read every comment. My previous post was deleted because of the language used in the post. I'm going to clean it up and paraphrase. What I found out this week. To everyone who mentioned a substance abuse and cheating, you guys are right. I snooped and found both. He's active on several dating apps. The women are just as bad as him. He admitted to purposely mentally tearing me down. He made comments about my ethnicity and appearance. He justified stealing from me. According to him, I should be grateful that a good-looking guy like him would touch me, and the money he took from my debit card was below what he deserved for degrading himself. Accused me of being insecure, insane, jealous, and he remained unemployed because of my insecurities. I wish I could go into details, but it gets bad. To everyone who mentioned he's been stealing cash, yes, he has been requesting cash back since 2022 when I first gave him my debit card. He withdrew up to $60 on a single large purchase. I work 50+ hours a week. I thought I could trust my partner to run errands. I was able to get more receipts. He stole $300 last month. That's what I could prove. He was given a 30-day notice by the apartment property management. He changed his relationship status to "it's complicated" and threatened to change it to single if I don't find him another place before the 30 days. He said that he has standards and refuses to be with a homeless bitch. He plans on staying with a friend, so I better find a place. He had demands for the next place. At least 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2-car garage, a front yard, and a backyard in a good area. I smiled and said, "Okay, I'll try." I'm not trying anything. I'm going home to my dad's house. Well, maybe his female friends could help him out. I'm not reaching out to those women to warn them. They'll figure it out when 6 months have passed. He hasn't got a job, and they have to fight for the bathroom. Yes, he's still locking himself in the bathroom. I'm assuming he's on the dating apps or dehumanizing me to his friends. I let him use my debit card because I really did believe that we were a team. I didn't think that a partner would steal from me and lie to my face. I didn't snoop before because I believed that he was right. I shouldn't be violating his privacy. He convinced me that his conversations with friends and how and what he spent money on was none of my business. He is right. The relationship is going to be very complicated between him and my debit card. I didn't confront him about anything. It's better for him to believe that he's doing a great job hiding his second online bathroom life. Well, it really does seem like the bar is in hell, I guess. Also, if he's been doing this for years and racking up $300 a month without telling you, that's like felony territory right there. In the end, move in with your dad, stay safe, and do what you can just to stay the hell away from him. Let the women who decided to entertain his antics figure out the hard way that he's actually the one who's been drifting around and utilizing whatever finances he can get his hands on to keep himself afloat until he has to move on to the next person. Oh boy, welcome to the outro. Yay. Don't forget right now, if you use code OZ at checkout with Gamer Subs, for all purchases above $75, you get free shipping. Fun. I know for a lot of you that's very much worth it because shipping costs can definitely be, well, a lot. Also, just wanted to extend my gratitude to all past, current, and potentially future members. You guys have been awesome, and it's just very nice to have that additional amount of support. Whether you support by having memberships, support through Gamer Subs, support by leaving comments, likes, or watching the entire video at normal speed, because if you watch at 1.5 or 1.25, it actually hurts the channel. Thank you to everyone, and all that you all do to do little things to support what I'm working on here. It means a lot to me, so thank you. Hopefully y'all have a good Sunday, or whatever future day you might be watching this on, and I'll catch y'all next time.